It is the Mosley Show. It's Thursday, and we're getting you ready. Boy, the Bears, with all the stuff going on, still have a game to play, believe it or not, Saturday, noon, big noon kickoff. No, I'm kidding. It is a noon kickoff for us, but I don't think Fox is anywhere near this one. In fact, Scotty, well, hold on. Scotty's in the middle of something right now, but I will say that this game, I think I noted or I saw this game's on an interesting platform. I feel like maybe TNT or something's involved with this. We've been so involved with Baylor and what's going on with this whole Mac Rhodes thing, and I will be talking about that. I'll just start today by saying, okay, here's where this is. All right. And you're like, well, wait, why haven't we heard anything? And I'm like you, I am always sort of checking. I'm checking in with people. I mean, I don't know if y'all are checking in with people, but I am. I'm doing all these things to just kind of make sure we don't have any. Oh dang it! I lost my. Anyway, last night I was wanting to gather information, and so just here's the good news. These names that are being put out there, Jeremiah Dickey, former deputy director of athletics with Mac here at Baylor, Ren Baker, who was at UNT, he was, and then after he was at UNT, he's now at West Virginia. He hired the West Virginia basketball coach. He hired a really good coach before that to replace Huggins, who got in trouble, and that coach have already been taken by Indiana. In West Virginia. So anyway, Ren Baker does a great job. And then Jared Mosley, cousin Jared, is it's spelled the same, but we're not cousins. But we kind of joke that we are. He is at UNT. And of course, people think, well, gosh, they got a great head coach. They got a great quarterback there at UNT. Wouldn't this just be perfect? He was a star basketball player, I believe, at ACU, later would become the athletic director there, then would eventually become the athletic director at UNT. These are all some of the names. Now, here's why it's good for me and good for you. I know them all at varying levels. Jeremiah is the one I know best. I mean, if they do make a move, he would be a no-brainer. I do think I hear people say things like, well, he's so close to Mac. Well, okay. I mean, the thing is, I try to remind folks it's not one day you don't make a mistake and it's just like, well, everything he did was horrible. Like, he's been praised, and we're going to talk to Scott Drew later today. I mean, as Scotty's pointed out, he helped keep Scott Drew here. He hired Matt Rule. I mean, I would say his hire of Dave Aranda was very understandable at the time. Obviously, now everybody's probably ready for them to move on from Dave Aranda. But for the most part, again, it wasn't great. It was kind of a messy, weird ending with Kim Mulkey. Yes, a legend walk, but he hired Nikki Collin, and the team's number 7 in the country right now. So, I mean, let's not act like, oh, my gosh, he's associated with Mac. We can't hire him. Mac didn't spend the last decade like doing a bunch of bad stuff. He, unfortunately, had something weird happen, interaction with a player and a coach this year that probably wasn't enough on its own to get someone fired. Well, then on top of that, some other stuff has come out. And when I say come out, there's just something has happened, away from his job that has put him in trouble. But that said, like Jeremiah Dickey, for instance, who came up with Mac, was with him at Houston, has been with him at different places, with him. I can't really remember how that whole thing worked at Missouri, if he went to Mizzou with him or not, but whatever. Certainly was with him when he showed up at Baylor in 2016. All right. And he's incredible. Like, I mean, why would you not think about the person who already knows where everybody is, already knows what he would need to do on staff, already knows, like, there's so much less ramp up time. And oh, by the way, he fired a coach at Boise State a couple of years ago, and he hired this incredible coach, Spencer Danielson, who's been incredible at Boise State. I mean, Boise State was in the college football playoff last year. So if you're like trying not to hire him because he's been with Mac, it's kind of a dumb reason, is what I'm trying to say. It's like, well, Matt, we've got some problems with Mac right now. Well, yeah, that doesn't mean he's been gone for 5 years. He's been on his own. In January, it'll have been 5 years at Boise State. So again, all this, well, he was so close to Mac. The people, I hope, that are going to be making this decision, and right now that means, President Livingstone. I mean, and then she'll lean on, I think, certain board members. And, fortunately, I know some of these folks. And so I think things are solid in terms of the way she's going about this. Now, you're like, well, Matt, why is this taking a while? He just went on leave. We just found out he was going on leave last, Wednesday? And then all the weirdness of the weekend and the game Friday night, basketball game. I'm sure everybody was talking about this. Like, it's just become too much of a crazy distraction kind of thing. So you're like, well, what are they doing with Mac? Well, they're probably figuring out, do you fire him for cause, which could cause him to fight that, and there could be litigation, or do you reach a settlement with his agent / attorney, and that's a more amicable parting of the ways? Or do you just pay like the whole buyout? Do you just pay for the rest of his? I don't see that happening. So I see them trying to reach a settlement. If that can happen fairly soon, we may have an announcement on Mac's future by as early as tomorrow. Certainly, I would think as early as the first of next week. And then here comes the quick AD search. Why do you need an AD in quickly? Well, I mean, you got the recruiting early signing period, all of that. You've got the recruiting class that looks pretty good. So far, they've been able, for the most part, to hold it together. You see, since they fired James Franklin at Penn State, now he's at Virginia Tech. You see recruits jumping ship. Like, okay, which is very understandable. I mean, they thought they were going to play for James Franklin and his whole staff. They're going to end up playing for an entirely different staff. Some of them will hold on because Penn State's such a big-time program. Same thing at LSU, same thing at Florida. I noticed yesterday, though, I think he's a running back, Scotty, that, it's kind of a spiritual thing. A running back, a 4-star running back, Penn State, decommitted. He pulled his pledge. What is his name? His name is Messiah. That's a lot to put on a kid, the name of Messiah. And we've been waiting on the Messiah to return. But this Messiah, okay, people are going to be like, Mosley's getting sacrilegious. Okay, we're just doing jokes. This Messiah is a big-time running back, and he spells it like our Messiah, like Handel's Messiah. I think as we get closer to the holidays, I may just play some of Handel's Messiah. What a beautiful piece of music. In fact, we could have Brian Fonville from Central National Bank come on and play the trumpet. I mean, just he could play anything. He could play the piano if we wanted him to, but he is just extremely talented. All right. Now, right now, as you can see up on the screen, Sherry Johnson Siegmund James. Now, thanks to everyone, by the way, because of this Baylor stuff, because of all the Cowboy stuff, we've had a ton of people, and because of Mosley and Scotty, we've had a ton of people viewing us. All right. And I'd just like to remind you and you can watch live today, Scott Drew at about 2:30. All right. Well, we talked to him for about 30. Let's see, about 225. About 225. So we'll probably have to say we'll set that up. And I'll probably set that up today at about 2:20, and then you'll get to hear from the great Scott Drew. So you can watch that live. And then, of course, on all the different mediums and YouTube, all our stuff is housed there, archived there, and you can go find that later. And plus, we're on Spotify and Apple as long as Cam and Zach are doing their job. Scotty, do we have any proof that they're doing their job? I think they are. They've been doing a really nice job. But all right, there's that. The one thing I didn't mention, and I'll mention it with Scott Drew, but Baylor had its basketball signing period. Elijah Williams was its one signee. There was a kid the Bears were hoping to get. Unfortunately, he chose University of Texas over Baylor and BYU. BYU obviously is out there with the enormous money. There's one player that Baylor's kind of duking it out with, I think, UNC and Penn State on. One more basketball player for the 2026 class. We'll see. Very, very proud to have the son of Monty Williams, the great Elijah Williams from San Antonio. Really fine player. And so I think that's exciting for everybody in Bearland. But there's one other kid that they could possibly get. UNC also is trying to get him. But the kid that they did not get was named Gooseby, I think. Is it Goolsby or Gooseby? I think it's Goosby. And he has decided to go play for the University of Texas. I mean, I don't know. If you want to be like a 10 or 11 seed in the NCAA tournament, I mean, have at it. Have at it. I mean, one of my favorite players that I've ever watched in high school, Trey Johnson, went there last year, and he was great, but they didn't put anything around him, sadly. And other than, I do love Nakia Cody's kid, Nick Cody, but he didn't get to play that much last year. But they're just not doing that much. I mean, literally they had, and let's not act like Baylor had a great season. Honestly, Texas and Baylor had these unbelievable one-and-dones. And sadly, it just didn't amount to much last year because of injuries and a lack of depth and maybe getting the wrong guy in the portal. All right, we got to think twice. I mean, if there's a kid leaving a tradition-rich program like Duke when he's been like a captain and a guard for 2 or 3 years, you might ought to go, should we pay him $1 million? Are we sure? Like, why is he leaving after 3 years? Duke, you got to ask yourself. Baylor got burned. It happens to a lot of teams, not just Baylor, but just something that does happen from time to time. Scott Drew joins us today at about 2:25. All right. And so I want everybody to do that. Also excited to have Ascension Providence, one of their extremely talented doctors, will be stopping by around 1:45 today. And boy, Scotty has done yeoman's work on those interviews. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's a healthcare professional at Ascension Providence that we haven't talked to. I mean, if maybe there's a nurse over there, there may be like a charge nurse up there in like the NICU or something that we haven't talked to. But we've talked to pretty much, concussions, neurosurgeons, spine specialists, pediatric orthopedists. I mean, like I some of these things I didn't even know they did. I didn't even know that was something you could do. I think I chose to go to law school. There's some of these things that I'm hearing about that I would have probably gone to med school if I knew they did these things, because some of it really is of interest to me, but I didn't even know. And I grew up in a small town. We didn't know everything that was happening out there. Scotty, we also have right now, we'll take a quick break here in a minute to take care of our folks, but Cowboys today, let me see if I can confirm this. I think today is Thursday. Okay, yes. That is the day the Cowboys have their assistant speak. And a lot of times you're like, oh my gosh, we have to hear from Eberflus again. But when you go on the road and you play a dominant game and you have all these new defenders and Quinnen Williams is awesome in his first game, you get a little excited. You say, hey, we might want to hear what Mr. Eberflus has to say. He said today, Scotty, a little earlier today, that he was in his office when told that the Cowboys had traded for defensive tackle Quinnen Williams. He said, quote, "You could have heard a big yell. It was an exciting time for sure. Q has played in the attack front, so he knows it. The verbiage is very similar, having Coach Whitecott," and that's Aaron Whitecott, the D-line coach. "It's crazy how things work out. It's been a very easy transition for him. He's a true pro. He helps everybody, not just with his talent and his play, but he's coaching on the sideline." Okay, Scotty, I know. Hey, I'm with you. I think Scotty's still in. It was just the Raiders. But we were excited to see the new players, Siobhan Ravel, Quinnen Williams, kind of see how they all did together. Williams, Kenny Clark, Osa Digizua, all the defensive tackles. They graded out very, very well, according to Coach Eberflus. Eberflus went on to say about Williams, he said, when you have your best players on the field practicing like Williams, everybody follows. When your most talented guys do that, it has a big effect on the whole football team. I don't know. I mean, do they not have other talented players this season? Were they not practicing hard? I mean, was Osa not bringing it in practice? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into that. But it is nice to hear Quinnen say that, and I mean to hear him say that about Quinnen Williams. And one quick thing, then we'll take a quick break here. He did talk about Siobhan Ravel, who got some snaps the other night. That's the rookie from East Carolina. Second or third round pick. Anyway, I think second round pick, but had first round pick, but he was banged up. He said he's great. He's a big, tall, strong guy. I love his stop and start. He really can stop on those transition routes. He's really good length. He's a no house guest corner. No, I like that, Scotty. I'm a no house guest broadcaster. I like that. A no house guest corner. He tackles. He's a good tackler. I'm excited about where he's going. Okay. Beat these Eagles. Get to 500, 5-5-1, heading into a big Thanksgiving. Then you pull off another one against a struggling Chiefs team coming in here. 6-5-1. You start to kind of dream a little bit at that point, as Scotty might say. You dream of a future with the Dallas Cowboys coming down the stretch, winning games, looking good on defense. I mean, all we ask for is can you keep us interested? Can you keep our attention? Can you give us something to talk about? They have done that. With Quinnen, Siobhan, Returna overshown, and the play of Bland the other night. And let me give you one more. Kalen, is that his name? Kalen Carson. Wow. I mean, I was like, wait, who's 21? Who's 21? Who's making these plays? Who's out there making all these plays? My friends, that is a young man by the name of Kalen Carson. Buy stock now. All right. Get you some Carson stock out there. All right. But it's pretty good. Outperforming the S&P right now. Kalen Carson stock. Get you some. All right. It is, we've got major medical stuff we're going to share with you a little later in the program. Next, I got a couple of thoughts. College football. We'll do a full Campus Confidential when we get in the 2:00 hour. All right. We're trying to, we got to kind of work around some things today because we've got the great Scott Drew joining us at about 2:25 today. We're excited about that. A little college talk, college football weekend. Interesting matchup that I want to talk about. That is next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. And when it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. With the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. Never deposit someone else's money into your bank account. Scammers will send you money or overpay you and then ask you to refund a portion of the money back to them. This is a scam.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
Baylor Nation rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by, let's be friends.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Mosley to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code MOSLEY. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Welcome back, Mosley Show. Yo, Underdog, man. It's Thursday. Time to tell you what we're picking for college football. Stuck with some Big 12 quarterbacks this weekend. You know, Big 12 is what I know, so that's what we'll stick with. Bottom line here, folks. Well, I mean, what are we doing? Underdog setting this at 1.5 for Sawyer Robertson. He beats this every single time. This is the best pick I make every time I make it. Take Sawyer higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns. By that same token, man, Josh Hoover. TCU needs a big win against Houston this week. I think Hoover steps up higher than 1.5 passing touchdowns for him as well. And then Bear Bachmeier, BYU did lose to Texas Tech. They are going to wipe the floor in Cincinnati this weekend. I'm calling my shot. Cincinnati is spiraling downward. And Bear Bachmeier, he will rush for higher than 52.5 yards. Make those picks with me, and you could win some money. By the way, I did the flex pick. This is why I love Underdog. If I get 2 of these 3, not all 3, 2 of the 3, I win money. If I get all 3, I win even more money. Use that promo code Mosley. You'll get that $50 of bonus cash with your first $5 deposit. Great way to play a bunch of Underdog without having to pay for it. And you know what they say on Underdog? Make picks, win that money.
They do say it, and I thought you said it well there. I guess I'm happy for him, but it kind of makes me sad, Scotty. And thank you, Underdog. Always, Scotty had some good ones. By the way, Scotty, you might have just said it, but I wanted to double back on one thing because he was off to our man VJ's not been shooting the ball particularly well here recently. Did he get higher than the 1.5 3-pointers that you were talking about yesterday?
I'm gonna be honest. I haven't looked, but I did not. I did not win. I did not win money on my underdog submission yesterday, so he might not have.
Yes, the answer should just be automatically. Sorry. No, Scotty does monitor his picks. I didn't mean to put him on the spot there, but I wanted him to know. I pay attention, and I like to kind of look and see how these things go. And I tell you what, man, it sometimes Scotty, and this is a guy. You love his press conferences. You love to see what Matt Rule is up to. Well, added another 5-star yesterday. 6'2" cornerback, 180-pound cornerback out of Orlando, Florida. The First Academy is what this place is called. I would say, he's got – they're not great, and let's not act like he's just completely knocked it out of the park. But in terms of like getting people and bringing in big time talent and that kind of thing, Matt Rule does have some excitement attached to that program. Now, where is he going this weekend, you might ask? Well, Scotty, the answer is State College. He's going to Happy Valley, where he cut his teeth, where he went to school, where he played. His first love. He's going back there. He was asked to tell people where to eat and do all that kind of thing. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that situation, although Nebraska has taken very good care of him. What I was amazed to see, Scotty, is that like in our minds, with the great job that Kiffin has done, it's like you would think he would be making very, like top 3 money in the SEC. I was a little surprised to learn that Lane Kiffin is making the 5th most in the SEC. He's only at $9 million. He ought to be able to get himself on this thing with all the interest that he has, and he has the unbelievable agent, the super agent in Jimmy Sexton. He should be able to get this thing to about $12 million a year, like at Ole Miss, if he stays at Ole Miss. And as I said the other day, Scotty, I have a difficult time. I think even though he is like, doesn't mind sometimes playing the role of the villain, he's kind of rehabbed his image. Does he really want to look this bad? Does he truly have the stomach to leave a place and leave those kids hanging as they play in a college football playoff? And you go, well, man, why don't they just wait? Could they kind of do a secret deal and just wait? That's not really how this works. That's not how it works with the early signing period. Everybody needing to know, the boosters wanting to know. The kids that are signing with LSU wanting to know who their coach is going to be, all that, none of it, or Florida, none of it works that way. You have to make a call, which is why I understand that Ole Miss, and you got to watch it if you're Ole Miss, because if you press him too hard, he'll just say, I'm out, man. I'm out. I'm going to leave it with y'all. But man, I think there would be a sorry factor times 10 if he does that. Now, Scotty, you go, Mosley, how are you transitioning to women's basketball? Well, here's why I do it. Because, and Scotty, we'll go wherever you want to go when we get to Campus Confidential. We'll do it today, I don't know, around 1:55, 2 o'clock, right around there. And then, of course, we have Scott Drew coming on with us at 2:25 today. The reason I like talking about women's basketball from time to time is because we're good at it. All right? I mean, let's be honest. But Bears right now, number 7 in the country. I would say, Scotty, I did not love the way they played here recently against Texas State in something called Lemoyne. I don't know what that is or where it is, but I would say in those 2 games, they did not step on the gas. They did not run away from those teams. And if you're number 7 in the country, you don't need for Lemoyne to be hanging around for anything, reason. So maybe I'll figure it out. I'll say maybe there's some reason for that. I got bad news though for you, Scotty. And this is a team that Nikki has said, you know what? We'll play you anytime, anywhere. You want us, University of Texas, you still want to play us on this schedule? We'll meet you right up there in Fort Worth, Texas, and play you. And I appreciate that about her. University of Texas just got, Scotty, the number 10 recruit in the girls Sports Center top 100 class of 2026, Addison Bjorn. And then this has all happened yesterday. The number 8 person in the class in the top 100, Brianna Crittenden, on Wednesday. Wow. So they're out there getting, in this Bjorn, Scotty, she was also looking at Iowa, North Carolina, UConn, Kansas, Notre Dame, and Duke. All right, Scotty. So it made me want to go look at Baylor women's basketball. Hey, who do we get? What do we got here? And maybe there's still some stuff that needs to happen. I did want to say, by the way, how about number 7 versus number 19 Iowa happening? It's freaking game day for these Baylor women. This is pretty awesome. That's tonight on ESPN2 at 8 p.m. Central Time. I'm scared. Anytime Big 12 loves to list Eastern times. So I got to make sure this is not a Big 12 tweet, but this is Baylor, and they do speak in Central Time. Not that that's a dialect, but you know what I'm saying. State Farm Fieldhouse tonight, ESPN2. Number 7 Bears go up against number 19 Iowa. They'll play you anywhere, anyhow. Where is that? Oh, that's it. That's up there in Disney World, Scotty. Wide World of Sports Complex. All right. Well, we probably should have checked in with Nikki, but that's okay. I think if we're on a schedule, our time to talk to Nikki is next week, and that'll be great because we can react to these things. I have stayed at I've been to the ESPN Wide World Sports Complex, and I stayed in the little resort right next to it. There's something, I just can't think what it's called. There's something kind of over there close to it. But yeah, pretty neat place. So good for the Bears as they get ready to go tonight. And Scotty, and 20 hours ago when they arrived, Mickey Mouse was there to greet the Bears. Now you say, well, Mosley, why are you bringing that up? Well, some of these kids grew up on Disney like my child did. Love that stuff. And love, even at whatever age, seeing the characters, taking a picture with Minnie and Mickey. My favorite time, Scotty, this is what you have to look forward to. And maybe someday I'll have grandkids and we'll do all this over again. But I'm not looking to do that too soon here. But that right there is the best. When you take your kid to Disney. And then at some age, like 3 or 4, or maybe a little, I don't know what it is, they like getting like the signatures or the stamp from the characters. And so you find yourself as a full-grown adult running around Disney trying to help your child get signatures. Now that is the good stuff. My gosh. So anyway, wanted to bring that up as that is going on with those with the Bears, and then just a little bit of recruiting going on. So, and then there was a little bit of breaking NFL news. There was a signing earlier today. I find this interesting when a bad team is kind of just, shuffling through a season. They don't have a quarterback. They're going to start Shedeur this weekend. And, of course, everybody will get mad because either people think you're too hard on Shedeur or they think you like Shedeur too much, and you get criticized for any of that, which is kind of, most times I don't mind wading into anything, but I don't really understand it. It's like, I get that he's a lightning rod because of his dad and because he had a huge profile at Colorado and then the way they've kind of handled this thing in Cleveland. So I get like why he's a lightning rod, but like I'm just kind of like, let's just see how he does. Like he'll probably do some good things and he'll probably do some really bad things. And then after the game, we should probably discuss him like we would most rookie quarterbacks, but we won't. This will be like the one group will be like, this guy stinks. This guy shouldn't even be in the NFL. And then the other group will be like, you're being something. You're being rude. You're being horrible to Shedeur. It's kind of dumb. Like the whole thing's dumb. It's like a bunch of like weird straw man type arguments. Just watch the guy play. If he's good, let's get excited. I'm fine with that. Shedeur played great. That's fun. I'll be excited. If he plays poorly, let's say he played poorly. The Cleveland Browns, in all their glory, reached a deal with defensive end Alex Wright. And I'm just like, what's going on here? A $33 million extension that includes $21 million guaranteed. He's 25 years old, 3 sacks in 9 games this season, and has a forced fumble and 9 tackles for loss. I think he's a pretty good player. I think probably that's a smart thing to do. Like, it's probably what Jerry ought to be thinking about doing. Like, if he's got any good. Now, the problem was Jerry didn't really have anybody. Who did he have on defense that he needed to go do like a reasonable deal with? Well, my gosh, if Kalen Carson keeps playing like that, I think about doing something with him. But like he did these huge deals with Bland but these are some of the better deals that happen in the NFL. The quiet $33 million extension. I know people are like, that's a lot of money. It is. I get it. Okay. And he got $21 million or whatever guaranteed. That's good. He's a good player. But those are generally kind of the good deals. Now, what Cowboys tend to whiff on are these corners can be good, and they can be good for like 3 or 4 seasons. And then everybody gets tired of them, including their teammates. All right. Cornerbacks and diva wide receivers. What do they end up doing? They are divas. People get sick of them. They get in fights on the field. I mean, that's the only thing. That's the only reason I would say be a little careful on doing a huge thing with our man George Pickens. He's been great. I love him. I want to see more of this. I wouldn't totally fault you for doing a long-term extension with him. Do I think George Pickens is the most trustworthy guy in the NFL? I do not. Would I put him in the top 15 or 20 of the most trustworthy wide receivers in the NFL? I would not. Would I say that George Pickens is a top 7 best receiver in the league right now? I might. So I think you've got some really interesting decisions to make. What the Cowboys have chosen to do, as opposed to the Cleveland Browns, who are sort of quietly doing this, they've butchered their quarterback stuff. They've been horrible about that. I see this as an actual, smart move. What the Cowboys have done is load up at an odd position. You generally don't pay a bunch of dudes at defensive tackle. Why are the Cowboys able to do this right now? Well, it's because they have so much money that they saved on not doing the Micah deal. So they have 3 very, very talented defensive tackles. It's kind of odd to have 3 defensive tackles, each making $20 million or more a year, but that's where the Cowboys have ended up doing. And it's a strange thing. Although, give me more Quinnen. I mean, I can't wait for this Eagles game Sunday afternoon. I get to spend more time with Quinnen. It's going to be fun. And I was going to be mad because my daughter's coming home for Thanksgiving, and man, I wish I could be home with her and all that stuff. And I've only been saying that every holiday for, her entire life. But she's decided to have Thanksgiving with her friends, not all of Thanksgiving, but like this coming Sunday night in College Station, not come home till Monday. So I'm all good. I'm all good. I can be out there and not be having the FOMO, like, oh my gosh, they're home, like without me and all that kind of stuff. I don't know why I still do that, Scotty, because I've missed about every. But again, the greatness of me leaving ESPN.com when I did, I was literally traveling every single weekend. The Cowboys were on the road. And then even when they were at home, I was going to an NFC East game on the road. So did I miss when my child was a baby? Did I miss those first year and a half? A lot of it. Does she remember me missing it? She does not. Okay. So I did luck out in that respect. But those years are incredible. So I'm not saying any parent should miss those times, because I will say being around her as a baby and 1 year old. But you know what's great is that even at 18, it's a weird, different relationship, because then they become more like a friend or something, but it's still awesome. Like there is zero ages. People say, the twos were awful. 3, when she was 4, she was a terror. Oh my gosh, she was in junior high. Yeah, you go through all that weirdness, and then they think they're too cool, and then they get a latitude. But every single age, I would say, was awesome. So, Scotty, load up, buddy, because you got about 17 years ahead of you where you can enjoy all of that. And then you send them off to college. And then, by the way, you're still parenting like crazy. All right. If you think you check out then, that is not what happens. Okay. It is, I don't know how we got into Mosley parenting advice, but it is time. Scotty's got something really interesting. I love our Ascension Providence people. They've been great. They've been just great partners. We're going to hear Scotty do an interview with a doctor during this break. And then in the 2:00 hour, we'll do some Campus Confidential. And then we'll also hear from Scott Drew right around 2:30. Scott Drew, head coach of the Baylor Bears, joins us. All that coming up next.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia. Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
WhyPersonalLoans.com. Request a loan anytime. Our partners can offer loans up to $35,000 with varying rates and terms. Review your loan offer with no obligation and decide what works for you. Visit PersonalLoans.com today.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit PropMoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. U-Like.
VivoSun's mission is to empower growers with stylish and effective products, making indoor growing accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Visit vivosun.com today and get started making growing plants and vegetables easy and automatic.
Hey, welcome back to the Matt Mosley Show. Scotty Swingler here, once again bringing you a guest from Ascension Providence. I'm joined by Dr. Chad Connor. He is a orthopedic surgery sports medicine specialist. Dr. Connor, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
Now, one of the things you specialize in is joints, and obviously there's a lot of joints in the body, a lot of areas where things can crop up. What are some of the most common injuries or issues you see in terms of your work?
Right, so I do a lot of work in the shoulder, the hip, the knee. Some of the most common things in the shoulder is we tear the rotator cuff. You can tear your labrum, get shoulder instability. And then for the knee, the meniscus tear, tears of the ACL are quite common. In the hip, we do a lot of work on the labrum, and there's some malalignment of the hip called FAI that we do a lot of work on.
So, and what's so interesting about what you just talked about, and we were talking about this a little bit before we turned the cameras on, is these injuries affect people of all ages, right? Whether you're a high school football player and you tear your ACL or injure your meniscus, all the way up to, you're older and you need hip replacements, everything in between. Like we've got a wide range here. You mentioned rotator cuffs. That's something I don't hear talked about a lot, and I mostly cover football, so maybe that's part of why. What does that injury look like, and how does someone know that maybe that they've encountered that injury and need to go seek help?
Right. Most football players aren't going to tear the rotator cuff. That's something that, welcome to your 50s and older, they'll typically get you. A lot of our patients, they may lift something heavy. They may try to move that tree or they may take a fall. This is the most common. And when that happens, a lot of times people get up, it hurts. They think, well, maybe it'll be okay.
Yeah.
But a surefire sign that you may have hurt something, if you can't raise your arm when you've hurt the shoulder, that's really a sign that you should get that checked right away. Because rotator cuff tears do better when they're treated sooner.
Oh, good to know. Yeah. Something else you mentioned, and I'm excited about this because Ascension Providence kind of leading the way with some technologies, some ways that we're doing medicine different here as we're in modern times. You talked to me about meniscus injuries. Say more about that and what you guys are doing to repair the knee.
Right. For meniscus injuries and young folks, your football players, we've been repairing the meniscus for many years now. Probably 20 plus years we've been repairing these in young folks. Our abilities to repair more complex tears have increased in the recent years. New technology, ways we can sew inside the knee joint, and different techniques we've come up with. In the old days, we would repair most meniscus tears in young people, but nowadays we can almost repair every single one. And if you're having a kiddo that's having surgery, you really want to make sure your meniscus is going to get repaired. And I'd say about 95% of them can be repaired now in young folks. But what's new to that is on people over 40 that for many years we just trim the meniscus out, which is better than taking the whole meniscus out. We've been trimming it out. Now, for folks over 40, those more complex tears you get when you're over 40, we're able to repair those as well. So just because you're 40 doesn't mean you're going to have a knee replacement 25 years later, which often is the case once you have your meniscus trimmed out. You can repair it now and have a better outlook for hopefully maintaining your own knee joint for as long as possible.
So I'm hearing a theme here, and I'm sure most doctors in most areas of medicine would say this, but it's like, if there's an issue, go ahead and address it, right? Don't like postpone things because this can just get worse down the road.
Right, yes. And similar to the shoulder, they're showing your rotator cuff, if you tear it, has better results if fixed within 3 months. They've also got studies now showing on your meniscus, if you tear it, better results if fixed within 3 months. So getting these things checked sooner is always going to be better.
One other thing you mentioned, and I'm not going to attempt to say it, I'll let you say it again, but FAI, to talk about that injury or pain in the hip and what Ascension Providence does to treat it.
Right. FAI is the short form for femoroacetabular impingement syndrome. You can see why we shortened it.
Yes.
What it is, it's when the neck doesn't fit into the ball. It's like putting a square rectangle into a round socket. And what we do is we can go in and we can reshape the ball neck with a burr, basically like you might have a Dremel at home, but ours is surgical grade, runs underwater and sucks all the debris out. And that allows the joint to move smoothly in the joint so it doesn't hurt. On top of that, misengagement of the hip leads to tear of the labrum, and that's why it starts hurting. So when we go in there arthroscopically, we can repair that as well when we're in there.
Now, what are some signs if someone starts experiencing some pain that they need to maybe come investigate that with you?
Right. It's very common. People will start noticing, my hip's kind of hurting a little bit if I'm sitting down or we've been walking for a while. Usually it hurts. The hip pain can hurt anywhere from the front to the side to the back. But usually it'll start off a little bit of an annoyance. And then when people usually come and see us, it's when now it hurts to go to the grocery store. It hurts to go out and do my jog. I can't jog anymore. And that's usually when people will come in and get it seen.
And the good news is what I'm hearing today is if you're experiencing issues in your joints, shoulder, knee, hips, anywhere else, we've talked about ankles earlier this fall, right? Go see the good folks at Ascension Providence. Dr. Connor, how is the best way for people to get in touch with you if they need to get checked out?
Well, I'm over at Ascension Providence Orthopedic Sports Medicine. I usually look things up on Google Maps and you can find us there.
Thank you so much for joining the Matt Mosley Show today.
All right. Thanks so much.
We will be right back after this further word from our sponsor. Stay tuned. It's the Matt Mosley Show.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
On his Matt Mosley Show. And man, interesting stuff there from the doc, Dr. Connor. And I'm wondering if that's the Connor or the Dr. Connor in town, joint specialist, orthopedist. Very, very interesting. There's somebody that grew up in Dallas and was a gymnast who's a Dr. Connor in the Waco area. And I don't know, Scotty, now that I think about it, you may have just talked to that man. But I'll kind of have to think through that. But very interesting stuff. And Scotty seems to have a nice rapport with all these doctors. And he now has them all their numbers locked in so he can call if he has any joint pain. Although at age 33, I don't think anything's aching too badly, but he probably has a few things that crop up from time to time. Man, it is there's a lot happening today. And one of the things we want to get you ready for is we will be talking to Scott Drew today at about 2:25. So be ready for that as Scott Drew. And then, Scotty, we got that big Baylor women's basketball game tonight as they face a ranked Iowa team. Number 7 ranked Bears play Iowa, number 19. Think about who's played there. I mean, that's where Miss Caitlin played. I don't know why I didn't have to call her Miss Caitlin. Seems odd. But Caitlin Clark played there. Somebody named Gustafson, who was really good. Megan Gustafson. Okay, I'm out of players, but they were good. Those were really good players there at Iowa. And then, of course, Monday, one of the reasons we want to talk to Scott Drew today is because they're getting ready to go to Vegas. And we'll see what happens in Vegas. It's going to be broadcast right there on, I believe ESPN has these games. The Las Vegas Invitational, Creighton in game 1 at 1:00 on Monday. Scotty, it's worth noting that our guest from yesterday, the great Michelle Leonard, the Baylor soccer coach, I believe that game is starting right now. The Bears are getting it on in soccer in South Bend against Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Badgers. So I'm very much interested. In fact, I looked it up, Scotty. That is an ESPN Plus offering. All right. And that game is just about to get started at Alumni Soccer Stadium there on the campus of Notre Dame. And I've got the starting lineup in front of me here. And Scotty, no huge surprises back there at defense. The Augustine sisters are back there. Hallie and Hannah just clearing out space. I mean, sweepers back there at the back. And then Olivia Hess, who we're talking about, plays midfield. I would say she and Tyler Isrig were both probably came up as forwards. They play midfielder at Baylor now. Hess has just got this enormous left leg. I mean, it's just she gets that ball on her left leg, and it's scary. And then Isrig can bring it up from either side and can kick pretty much equally with her right or left leg. I think Scotty right now is a bit shocked at my Baylor soccer knowledge, but I kind of looked into it. I looked into it when I was getting ready to. I mean, it's shocking to our audience, but I actually research things from time to time. Like before we come on to do a Baylor pregame show against Arizona, even though most people are only concerned about what Baylor's going to do with their head coach. I will take a deep dive, thanks to my buddy Sam Bradshaw and others, into what the Arizona Wildcats bring to the table, because they do have a scrappy little quarterback who I've liked the last couple of seasons. In fact, I go back 3 seasons ago to where I was watching Noah Fafita. And Scotty, I do feel vindicated. As you recall, when we made the choice to give the arrow up to the Arizona football program, Grayson Grunhafer, good friend of ours, he kind of scoffed at it. I wouldn't really have their arrow pointed up. Scotty, that was about a month ago. That was about 3.5 weeks ago, let's call it. Scotty, are you aware of the Arizona Wildcats record? I believe you probably are, and I believe the record is 7-3 now. The Wildcats have, and their coach Brennan, you know, the one thing, Scotty, you got to say about Dave Aranda, he always knows, he's always had some crossover with these coaches. He doesn't really like human interaction, doesn't really care for the media. I mean, could not pick most of us out of a lineup. Maybe if he was in a hostage situation and they said, the guy that wears sunglasses, do you know his name? I think he might be able to throw out Mosley. I think he knows Smokey. I think that might be it. Think about the great people over there at the Waco Trib, Bryce and Zach and all our good friends and Michael Haig. I mean, the man doesn't know us, and that should not disqualify him as a head coach, but it's probably not the best look in the world. But sadly, I don't think he's probably going to go much longer with the Bears. Although, Scotty, I mean, think about it. What are we rooting for? That sounds almost like we're going to do a cheer. We're rooting for the Bears to win. But what if the Bears do win? What if they win at Arizona and then they lose to Houston and they're 6-6 and they go to the Bowl of Beans game? Scotty, that's the thing now. I just noticed, it came across my timeline. and I hope I'm not raining on Campus Confidential, which will be coming up soon. Scotty, the Boca Raton, where our friends now coach at Florida Atlantic, Coach Jacobs and his bunch, Aditya Mohatra, Isaiah, the whole gang. Scotty, there's a new bowl game there. I mean, I think they've played it in the past. They just called it something else. It's now called the Bowl of Beans game. The Boca Raton Bowl of Beans game. This is what we do now. I mean, I don't totally understand it. And you might go, what kind of beans? Coffee beans? Pinto beans? Lima? Ranch style? Beanie weenies? What are we talking about here? Bushes. Like, I think it's Busch or something. Bush's beans. I mean, I like a good bean, but I wouldn't like really want to be a part of a bowl game. Now, that's a good place to go. Florida on December 23rd. Do I think we're going to pack up the family and head to Boca Raton to see 6-6 Baylor take on another 6-6 team? I don't think so. You know, the worst thing that could happen, Scotty, what if they lose these last two games and somebody comes and goes, well, you got some great graduation rates and we didn't get enough teams that qualified for 6 wins this year. We got too many bowl games. We need you to come play in our bowl game at 5-7. I think probably what you do in that case is go, thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity. Appreciate the question, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. All right, Scotty, tell you what, let's do a little Campus Confidential if we can. We got Scott Drew coming up. Scott Drew will be joining us at about 2:25. I'll break at 2:21 or 2:22 or something like that. And then Scott will join us at about 2:25. Scotty, I want to see kind of what you have on your mind today. And then we want to take a peek around at what's happening in the world of college athletics. Scotty, what do we have today?
Matt, story number 1 for Campus Confidential, and it wasn't yes, sir. Oh, that's one.
That's number
that's not
1.
Hold on, that's a 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Story number 1 for Campus Confidential. This morning, I was scrolling through the artist formerly known as Twitter and discovered an interesting post, Matt, from Rice University. Now, if you ask me what Rice is known for in the state, it would not be football, Matt. It would be academic excellence. However, Rice University, and I quadruple checked that this was not a parody, posted this morning that they, and you're going to love this, Mosley, they are offering free beer to any student who attends Saturday's home game against the mighty North Texas Mean Green. Now, all the media outlets have picked this up. You can find any sports page reporting on this, but Matt, something interesting happened just about 20 minutes ago as I was prepping for Campus Confidential. Rice, hold on. Actually, it's my turn. I need a sound here. Digging for this post to show you Rice has taken down the post. They have taken down the free beer post.
Oh, now, no.
I was going to get on here, show you the post and say, is this legal? Because I have worked in the food service industry. And if you've ever worked in the service industry, you know, you can comp food. You can give away as much food or Coca-Cola as you want. You legally in the state of Texas, at least if you're a restaurant or a food service provider, you cannot comp or give away alcohol. It is illegal. So I was already going to come on here and say, can Rice do this? And Matt, the post has been taken down, and I have seen no official update from the university or any news organization as to why. So we will have to wait and see if students are going to be able to get free beer at Rice versus UNT, or if that was just a really tragic miscalculation by the athletic department.
I mean, it's funny. It doesn't seem like something you should do. It seems extremely irresponsible for like
It does.
As you said, one of the most prestigious. I mean, that's the best academic school in the state of Texas, and we got some great ones. But that's number one. And then first, I mean, you'd have to ID everybody, and of course, you'll have some fake IDs. I mean, even at Rice, I think that probably happens. But you obviously, I don't think they are like giving it to students that aren't 21. So you have a huge amount of students that would not be eligible for this. So this kind of was a misguided attempt at maybe having fun. But as people found out many, many years ago, one of the more famous nights, I think it was at Old Cleveland Stadium, and maybe the Rangers were there that night. And Scotty, they did 10-cent beer night at the old ballpark, probably back in the 1970s. And I mean, it was so bad. It got so out of hand. I feel like people were out there like wandering around the field, tearing up the field and stuff. Like it was as bad as you would think. It was like, let's get everybody out here and let's give them 10-cent beers. And it did not. Like $1 hot dog makes sense. Kind of fun. I think Baylor does that. I think the Rangers do that once a week. Good value. Yeah, some idiot's going to eat 10 of them or something. But for the most part, people get 2 or 3, move on about their day. That's fun. Free beer seems like a very bad idea. So surprising that such an elite play. I mean, like, I'm not saying smart people don't drink, but like, you wouldn't hear about something like this at Stanford or Harvard or Yale. I mean, it just seems, and Rice is kind of in that, a little bit Ivy League type. They're not Ivy League per se, but they're a very highly academic place. I think they just went a little too far, and I bet they'll have to put out a little statement, apologizing. Now, the thing is, they probably got Rice a day of fun. Now they'd be maybe making fun of them, but if you subscribe to the any publicity is good publicity, right? People don't talk about Rice football. So maybe this is almost like a publicity stunt, is what I'm saying.
Perhaps. I mean, it was going to be a publicity stunt no matter what. Of course, Rice struggles with attendance at their football games. By the way, Rice having a decent year. I believe, I have not verified this, I think they're 5-5 today. Presumably heavy underdogs against a AP ranked North Texas team. But I kind of, there's part of me that likes the promotion and part of me that acknowledges the foolishness of the promotion. In fact, Matt, most of the responses I saw to that initial Rice tweet were like, nothing could go wrong here. Wink, wink. But then there was one Baylor burner account that I really appreciate that replied, "This is the most American thing I've ever seen."
the Rice Owls. Oh my goodness. That is I like it. I like Rice, by the way, renovating the old Rice Stadium. It once held a Super Bowl. It once had you could fit 80,000 people in old Rice Stadium. And I don't totally understand how they're doing this, but they're getting it down to, which is smart, but down to about 30,000 and doing some huge renovation for its football stadium. Good on Rice. Good on Rice, trying to get out there and do some things. That was my backup school, but I did not. I decided not to go down there. Right, the Rice Owls. What else do we have, sir?
We've talked a lot about Lane Kiffin and maybe some movements where he could end up. We have not talked a lot this week, Matt, about the fact Virginia Tech has their guy, and might I say, maybe one of the 5 to 7 best coaches in the sport, depending on how you look at the last decade. James Franklin, not going to the SEC, going to the ACC, Virginia Tech. I thought that was pretty big news. And then I saw this rumor, and I would love your take on this rumor. It is being reported by a source in Arkansas, and this is not a burner account. I looked that Dabo Swinney has engaged in conversations to be the next head coach at the University of Arkansas. Matt, we are about to enter the craziest coaching carousel cycle I can remember in college football history. And some of the big players already falling into place. Any thoughts on Franklin at Virginia Tech or the possibility of Dabo to Arkansas? And Dylan, I see your comment. That was my next topic. So hold on to your seat, sir.
What's up, Dylan? Thanks for watching via Twitter or on the YouTube channel. If you come to the YouTube channel, you can actually comment. And sometimes we even put your comments up there. And then, Scotty, remind me, old Sark had to come out denying rumors.
Yep.
I mean, you kind of give these rumors validity when you feel like you got to come out and shoot them down. You could just ignore it and then let people think what they want. But anyway, he felt the need to come out and shoot that one down. Now, the most interesting, I think it's a great hire for Virginia Tech. I mean, this guy had an incredible record. It's the ACC. That's a great fan base. It's a fun place to go to games. They're built to be fine in the ACC. It's kind of sad that they after all those years of Beamer being, I mean, he had a great run. He was there for like 25 years or something, and then they fell on hard times. This guy will go there for. And he may leave them after 3 seasons if they're really good, but that's okay. I think they could live with that. If he makes them really good for 2 or 3 seasons and then moves back to a bigger job, I think that's fine. So I think that's a good hire. The Arkansas thing is interesting because it reminds me of some of these other, like think of these basketball jobs. Calipari had an amazing run at Kentucky. He did win a national title. He put 1 million people into the NBA, but they were tired of him. And so, although it was odd, he ends up at Arkansas, another SEC school. I do think Dabo, there's some fatigue with Dabo, from their people. I think they're ready for change. Be careful what you wish for because he's been amazing there. But I think this is the one kind of thing where Arkansas people would be over the moon. We got this guy. Everybody knows. Everybody's excited. I mean, I think they would be excited. And I think Clemson people would be like, yeah, it's time to move on. Thank you. You were incredible. And I think, obviously he's a Hall of Fame coach. But I think both fan bases would be very excited about that. It doesn't pass the smell test to me simply because I think Clemson still values him to the point where, and I don't see him being interested in leaving for that job. The one job I always thought he might take if it came open was Alabama, but he had the misfortune of being, going not do well. I say that Alabama. Trying to think. I think he'd had a down year when the Alabama job came open. They obviously hired Kalen DeBoer. The truth is, Scotty, I know he's having a bad year. They went to the stinking playoff last year. I mean, Clemson got beat in the first round by Texas. Or second round by University of Texas, right? I mean, they're okay. I mean, they just had one really bad season. So anyway, I don't see that happening. I was going to tell you that Sark has come out and said, this is the thing that I don't understand the game day, ESPN college game day people. Like, why would Desmond Howard be walking around his house and just almost like a joke, just drop a rumor out there? Like, keep an eye on University of Texas. I could see an opening there. And the AD, Chris Del Conte, responded to me and said, "This is news to me. Thanks for the insight," with the emoji with somebody's hand up in front of his face. This prompts the great Sark to come out at his news conference and say, calling the reports, quote, absolutely false and untrue. The fifth-year Longhorns coach said he normally doesn't address rumors about his future, but felt a need because of the importance to both the team and university. This leads me to this question. Is Sark wanting out here? This Arch thing has not worked out. They were number one. He's getting real defensive. He's like, oh, it wasn't us that had us ranked number one. It was y'all. He's basically not even admitting that they've underperformed. All right. Never mind the fact they've been to 2 straight playoffs and were number one in the country to start this season. He does not think they've underperformed. Sark may, in the back of his mind, be thinking, because there was that story that his agents had reached out to NFL teams. Now, he shot that down, or his agents shot that down, or whoever. I think there was something to that. I think Sark is letting it be known that he would entertain an NFL offer. And you go, well, why would he ever leave a huge job like the University of Texas? Well, same reason everybody would like to get out of college right now. Not everybody, but a lot of people. This NIL portal, constant, it never stops. There's never an off season. There's never a time you're not recruiting. There's never a time you're not thinking about the portal. Now, he's making a ton of money. Sark makes more, I think, than Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. And that's okay, because honestly, Sark's been to back-to-back playoffs. I don't think there's really any reason he shouldn't be making a little bit more than Lane Kiffin. I would say the weirdest salary I've seen in the SEC is that DeBoer was just handed monstrous money at Alabama. Like, I don't think that was necessary, really. Like, are you telling me he wouldn't have left University of Washington for Alabama for $8 million a year? You had to pay him 10 or 11. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but that one seems a little odd to me. Some people might want to know, how much does Dave Aranda make at Baylor? $5-6 million a year. Makes good money. Makes great money. He's through like 2029. Is it 2030 or 2029? I think 2029. So, but it's time. It's time. I mean, like, the new AD to get strapped. I'll say this. The ADs I know about know, and I'm talking about the ones that are being mentioned, Baker, Jared Mosley, and Jeremiah Dickey. They know they can't bring Dave Aranda back next year with this fan base. Now, would an AD in a different vision excite the fan base enough to get past the fact that they still have Dave Aranda as their coach? I think the answer is no. Would it stink to lose your recruiting class? Yeah, but that's the risk. You have to get a new coach in here. All right, Scotty, do you want to let's take a break, and then I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll today here coming up at about 2:28, 2:30. He is the head coach of the Baylor men's basketball. His name is Scott Drew. He is next.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Covers and All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we were hoping Coach Collin would bring that championship mindset to do whatever she has to do to take our workplace culture to the next level.
Well, these donuts are pretty good.
Guys, how we doing?
We're good, Coach.
Craig! What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You have to dunk it.
So far, I think our employees are really enjoying it.
Not everything's a basketball thing.
Did you say something, Craig?
No, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
Dude, I think she likes you.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
The Matt Mosley show, and it's the live TV version. And you're hearing from Scott Drew as he prepares to get the Bears ready for this Las Vegas showcase, this invitational. And Scott, great to have you, man. I feel like a lot has happened since we talked, including a nice win over Washington, some extremely balanced scoring. How have things been going since we last talked?
Well, good, because we're still undefeated. So everything's good. We've it's that time of year, and you always hit that time of year at some point where everybody gets sick. And we've had strep throat, flu, colds, virus, whatever. And I'm coming off the tail end, but it's made its way through the team. The good news is get it out of the way now, and this is a perfect time, hopefully all before we leave for Vegas.
You and I are the same age. What do you do when they start telling you? Other night I was at Walgreens, and they said, have you had a flu shot? I said, yeah. They said, have you had your RSV, shingles, booster? And they gave me like 3 or 4 other opportunities. And I said, you know what? I'm not against those things, but I think I'm going to pass on that. Are you someone that likes to let them poke you with anything they have, or are you just a basic flu shot guy?
I'm a basic flu shot guy. I know everyone has different opinions on everything. My doctor said with shingles, wait till I'm a little bit older. So,
good.
That's hey, the less shots, the better.
That's good.
I'm not thinking to get my blood drawn or anything like that.
The worst. It's the worst. They have to lay me down, and they have to, and I begged for juice and fruit and anything to kind of keep me in the game a little bit.
Well, as manly as you are, Mosley, I'm sure you are fine. You're like, here, poke me.
I think you know me better than that. I struggle. Certain things I can take, but I can't take that. Lot going on with Baylor right now, the program and everything. I did want to start out. I thought Elijah Williams, Monty's son, and a kid from San Antonio. From year to year, you never know. With the portal, like how big a class you're going to have. You've had bigger ones, but boy, this is someone you've had your eye on for a lot of years now. In fact, I've heard so much about him that I almost felt like he should have been sitting over there on the roster this year. I'm like, wait, this kid's a incoming guy. But that's pretty neat because like his sister went to Baylor. I would imagine, because of Monty's time in the NBA, you've known him for a lot of years. How cool was that? And how great is that for Monty, whose family has been through a lot, but that's a pretty amazing family. How neat was that? And what can folks expect from Elijah?
Well, first and foremost, when you're looking to prepare champions for life, it doesn't get much better than Elijah. Spiritual, academic, character formation, athletic, embraces them all. A lot of people don't know this, but his sister Faith went to Baylor University, and so Monty's coached a lot of different NBA teams. Extremely successful coach, but he's been wearing green and gold for a minute because Faith had him in Baylor for a while. And Elijah's somebody, a special young man that really is developed, and his game continues to improve. This summer at the USA tryouts, a number of coaches and people up there really thought he was extremely effective and continues to get better and better. His dad was a successful NBA player. It won't be long unless Elijah's already gotten him where he's beaten him. So couldn't be more pleased and happy. Fitz' position was basketball. Elijah can pass it, dribble it, shoot it. I'm not going to tell his dad, but I think he clearly is a better shooter already. So he can really shoot that thing. But at the same time, good physicality, a great teammate. So with so many rules up in the air, so many things up in the air, we proceeded with caution rather than trying to fill out the roster.
Yeah, and if you ever need somebody to put some eyes, I know you usually turn to me for that, but Monty would not be a bad guy, would he? To say, "Hey, Monty, look at what we're doing here. Let's see what you think."
Well, what I appreciate too is you look at it. Monty's coached. He's actually coaching both his sons right now, and that's so cool. In high school, what a great mentor and coach he is for them and everybody at that school. But you look at Cam Carr's dad played in the NBA, Chris, Iggy's dad, obviously Andre played in the NBA, and all those guys that were successful in the NBA love and understand the value of culture and what Baylor brings, family atmosphere, preparing champions for life. And I would say actions speak louder than words, and putting your son in a place where they can grow on and off the court. That's says a lot about Baylor University and what Baylor's about.
All right. Boy, that looked the other night against Tarleton. It's funny to see Billy over there, and I can't help but think back on those Baylor A&M when, you were in your fairly early days, and Billy Clyde was at A&M, and then, of course, after that, Turgeon, and that really turned into something. But great to see him coaching, and quite honestly, with the health stuff he's been through, to even see him over there, it still kind of looks like a bulldog. At one point during the game, I don't know if you heard about this, those kids you have in the Bear outfits over there, the cameras caught Billy Clyde kind of going at them. I don't know what he was saying to them, but he was there was some back and forth going on. But I thought that was a good challenge. They obviously, the kid from UCF, went off in that game. How do you handle? What's your takeaway from that? I mean, like in one hand, it's like, okay, yeah, the guy scored 42. The good part is the rest of the team didn't score that much. How do you, when you see a guy just going off like that, at some point, are you like, you know what? Let's just try to, hold down everything else. What was your thought process coming out of that?
Well, first and foremost, the most important thing is get the win. And we got the win. And it reminded me of we played K-State. Remember the year they had Beasley and I forget the other guy who's really athletic, what his name was, but they scored like 79 points combined, those two players. And we ended up getting the win. And the rest of the team had like 9 or 10. So at the end of the day, getting the win is the most important thing. One thing, it early in the year, you're so you prioritize putting the foundation in. And then now that the house is built, you're starting to decorate the rooms. So obviously we'll work on if a player gets going, what are some options, alternatives we can do to slow them down. We've already worked on that this week. So hopefully nobody gets 42. We do like the other guys not scoring much, but we'll definitely have some anti-lock brakes to put on somebody in the future.
Yeah, I mean that he was something else, and of course now you got me thinking. Jacob Pullen played with Beasley, but it's not him. I know you're talking about Walker. That kid's name is Walker. Bill Walker. Yeah. I knew we both between us it was gonna jog our memory, but yeah, those were. I have nightmares like those people, and then like Iowa State people. There are people from Iowa State. I don't know, his name was Royce or something. They're just people from back in the day that could just jump over you, and occasionally Eustacia or somebody would end up with one of those monsters, and they come to mind a little bit. All right, the other night against Tarleton, though, Ike Williams, I call him Ike. I don't know if y'all do. Isaac, I guess, is what I see the TV people calling him. I mean, there are moments, and I'll just suddenly fall in love with this one player and be like, oh my gosh, God. But I think, this guy, the pace with which he plays at and the finishing ability, and it's like, oh my gosh, if he's going to start knocking down threes, because I think we see him at the line and see that maybe not being the best play. And it's like, okay, is this guy that's when he gets on. I thought he changed that game in a big way the other night. And I looked up maybe with 14 or 15 minutes left in the second half, and it's just like this dude just changed everything about this game. And so that's got to be pretty cool to know you have that at least right now sitting on the bench. Who knows what how you'll use him moving forward.
Well, I think a couple of things. One, playing in Germany, we were able to see just how effective Isaac was and how hard he is to keep from getting downhill and getting to the rim. At the same time, he's somebody that works really hard on his craft and really become a much more consistent 3-point shooter and free throw shooter. So really proud of the work he's put in defensively. He can get after you. He's got great size, strength. He'll get nothing but better because anybody that works that hard improves. With that also, I think that's a sign of a good team is you have multiple players that can help you. When you go to the bench, our goal is never to maintain. It's always to get people in waves and get better when you go to the bench. So our best teams have always done that, and we'll continue to try to do that.
All right, and that's a good thing when people like me are out there like, wait, I think that guy might be the best player on the team. And then one game you're like, no, it's Cameron Carr. And then I'm sure there'll be times this year where we say that about Tunde. And so I think those are your best teams, right? When you have several guys who can do it, because not everybody's going to be on the same night. What you pray is not everybody's off, right, on the same night. But this team obviously is going to be able to score. What about Carr is so electric, and he scores. It's like he scores 23, just kind of like walking out. It seems kind of almost with ease. Like in the second half, for instance, though, when he went, it's so noticeable because he scored 17 in the first half. When he went a pretty good long amount of time without scoring, is that him deferring, is that something they did? Were y'all just having other players like Ike make plays? What was going on the other night with that?
Well, I think you get what you take what the defense gives you.
Yeah.
And for a minute there, Isaac was really rolling, getting downhill. And I think at the same time, the best we can be as a team is have multiple players that can hurt you. If you go into a game and there's only one guy to guard, like you said, you're not going to be on every night. And so with us, if we can get multiple guys in double figures, multiple people that can affect the game, that's the better for us. And I think the longer this team plays together, when a player has it rolling, hopefully if you don't have a great shot, you turn it down to give that other person a chance or a better look when they're going. And what's hard is when you have newer teams, everybody's good. So when they arrive, they all can score, they can all play. And now it's starting to learn your teammates. So Mosley, you just bang 3 threes. I come down. I don't have to take a quick shot that's not great. Let me give you the ball and give you a shot at it. But again, as teams form, that it takes a little time to mature and grow through that. So that's why these early season games you learn so much. The whole key is learning with wins, because sometimes you learn and your season's torpedoed before you get a chance to even go.
Nunley, by the way, does not like the no pass 3, the dribble into. I mean, I'm sure there's one in transition. Sometimes it's okay, but boy, like in a half court set, and he kind of blamed it on you. He said Scott Drew does not like that shot. So anyway, he was representing you there on the broadcast.
I'd have been okay with it. Just
and by the way, off the bench, JJ White hit a big shot. I mean, y'all. We interrupt this interview in progress, and Scotty. Unfortunately, we probably need to go ahead and hit the breaking news. We will. There it is. And Scotty, if you want to grab that tweet from Thamel, we could certainly put that up there at some point. But as we had taped Scott earlier today, and we're sharing that with you. And unfortunately, we had not run away from our post. And it is now Pete Thamel of ESPN.com has, according to sources, reporting Baylor is expected to soon announce. There it is. Thank you, Scotty. The departure of athletic director Mack Rhoades. He's on leave from the school for personal reasons, and the sides are planning to announce he's stepping away immediately. I think hopefully what this means is that it's been an amicable. I would have to surmise by this that this is not. He didn't get fired for cause. They found a way to agree on some settlement for the rest of his contract, and this again will getting ready to announce it'll happen immediately. Thamel, sometimes a university will just go ahead and put it out there. And I mean, I don't know who knows how you got it. Somebody leaked it or whatever, but I would imagine a statement will be forthcoming from Baylor. And I would not think I think it would be from a statement coming from President Linda Livingstone. If you're watching us out there on Twitter, we appreciate it. We apologize, because Scott said some pretty interesting things today about Tunde, comparing him to one of Baylor's all-time great defensive players. I thought that was very interesting. What we'll do is we'll play Scott in its entirety tomorrow, and we'll do that. I don't know, around 2:00 perhaps. And because I want to get all that out there. This also, Scotty, gives us an opportunity. We'll check in on Baylor soccer to see how they're doing. Give that a peek, Scotty, if you don't mind. I'm very curious because they are in that NCAA tournament. But the big news today, as we just broke in to let you know, we had to break into a Scott Drew interview. Again, we'll get that whole interview to you tomorrow, but we needed to go live and react to this. And we love having the capability of being able to do that. Mack Rhoades' time as the Baylor AD, as we thought was going to happen, is coming to an end. I had been tipped off that this was going to maybe happen pretty quickly. I thought maybe by tomorrow. It happened by today. All right. And Baylor will have an official announcement coming out soon. The whole thing, everybody's reaching out right now to Baylor to see, do you confirm this report? I suppose I could do that right now, but the truth is, Pete Thamel's not going to do this if it's untrue. He's not going to be out there with that report. So here it is. We are reacting to it, Scotty and I, live on the Matt Mosley Show on the Rogue Media Network. It's unfortunate. It's not what I expected to be doing. I had hoped Mack Rhoades, he's done a lot of great things at Baylor. I know because of the way the football program was performing, because of the way it was turning out with Dave Aranda, people were sour with Mack. There'll be more time to talk about sort of his legacy, what he's done. I mean, he inherited an unbelievable scandal and a mess, and really helped Baylor, and he was respected enough that they made him the spokesperson and the chairperson of the College Football Playoff Committee. This guy had huge respect across the country. He just, the thing with Trigg, that was a bad thing. More allegations of whatever happened in the workplace in terms of verbal abuse, at least according to Outkick. And, of course, a lot of their stuff had not been at all pushed back on by Baylor. Baylor did not dispute any of the facts from what they reported. And then this latest thing, which was an allegation that came in on a Monday, apparently he still represented the university in the college football playoff that following Tuesday. By Wednesday, he was taking a leave of absence. Now, I say Wednesday. That actually came out, I believe, on Thursday, because on Wednesday night, he was supposed to have a dinner with some big-time Baylor donors and supporters, and they were going to sit down and just have dinner together and talk about things. And then that was called off last Wednesday night. By Thursday, he was taking a leave of absence. Most of you have kind of heard, it's an unfortunate personal thing that happened. I think sadly, it was not anything alleged to have happened to any student with student athletes or any employee of Baylor, but it's something that happened, and it's extremely unfortunate. And I don't know how Baylor found out because somebody told them about it. I don't think, and I'm sure Mack had to say, yes, this is true or whatever, but it's been reported as something that occurred that went against Baylor's faith-based policies, kind of like what you'd call like a morals clause or whatever. And again, you don't have to look that hard out there to find what it might be, but I'm not going to get into all that because some of that stuff is not firmly reported. It's just obviously something came out and he got involved in something that has ended in his career ending at Baylor. And so I expect an announcement from Baylor pretty quickly. In fact, Scotty, as you and I sit here and talk, I was just going to make sure we didn't have something from Baylor. In fact, that if Baylor's putting a statement together, that would be something that Jason Cook, who's head of chief financial officer, chief marketing officer is what I meant to say, CMO. That's something that he and President Livingstone. Now, what does this mean? What does this mean? Mack is out. We kind of knew it was headed this way. Well, it means that you can start your AD search now. All right. That there was the holdup of needing to get this settlement, need to figure this out. Mack's leaving. They'll continue to work on that. To me, it sounds somewhat amicable. that's happening. And now the short list we've been talking about that you're hearing names. And hey, I'm not the only one who's put these names out here. I've seen it on Sick'em 365. I happen to know all three of these names that are being mentioned, and I'm sure there will be more. But any sort of short list that would be put together for Baylor to be looking at would have. I mean, Jeremiah Dickey was here. He was the deputy athletic director. He was beloved by pretty much everybody at Baylor. Yes, he had been with Mac. Yes, he's also his own man, and incredible family guy. Huge. His Christian faith is very much at the forefront of his life. I can't speak to that really with some of these other candidates. Jared Mosley played basketball at ACU. He'd be the tallest AD in the country, already is. He's at UNT now as the athletic director. He's about 6'8" or 6'9". He's a man of faith. He's very open with his faith. He probably couldn't be quite as open as his faith at a state school like UNT. Same thing at West Virginia with Ren Baker. I think Ren Baker is a man of faith. I think he'd be a very inspired choice. I think he's done a good job. I think he's already had to hire 2 basketball coaches because one got hired from Indiana. He's already had to hire a football coach there. I mean, he's been doing that. Jeremiah Dickey had to fire a coach. He brought in an interim, and then the interim was unbelievable in the last 3 or 4 games of that season, and they ended up making him the full-time coach at Boise State. Spencer Danielson is his name. Would that guy be a possible candidate for Baylor's head coaching? Why not? I mean, he's been great. I mean, they went to the college football playoff. I mean, he's part of a staff that recruited Ashton Genty out there to who's now with the Raiders' first-round pick. So, yeah, I mean, absolutely, that's somebody you should be thinking about or looking at. I mean, the thing about getting an AD in place quickly, efficiently, and hopefully a great one. And here's what I'll tell you too, Scotty, is that Baylor has people know was about to happen. They knew Mac was out, right? So Baylor has already been hearing from incredible candidates. All right, that process had already started. So I mean, this is again, we knew it was blowing this direction. Always a little sad and strange for it to have happened. He will leave immediately. So Mac Rhodes' time away ends. Whatever settlement he has with the university, he'll move on about his business. And we hope and wish him the best and hope he gets his life together. And, in time, if Mac, would be open to coming on, I'd love to have him on. And I would ask him a lot of questions. I would ask him some tough questions, and I would be very respectful, and I would act like the friend that I have been to him. So, but there would be questions that need to be asked, and we certainly would ask all those questions. So there you go. It has happened. Mac Rhodes out as Baylor AD. An announcement will be forthcoming. So none of this surprises anybody. Again, this is according to Pete Thamel. Baylor is expected to soon announce the departure of athletic director Mac Rhodes. He's on leave from the school for personal reasons, and the sides are planning to announce he's stepping away immediately. Boy, this has happened. It's happened in a hurry. He goes on, by the way, to say Rhodes has been the AD there since July of 2016. Also left his role as a chair of college football playoff. He's a veteran AD who stops at Missouri, Houston, and Akron. His tenure includes hiring Matt Rule and 8 national titles. Whoa. Including one in men's hoops. All right. I think that would be all those acro and tumbling national titles are including, and which is fine. That's fine. I mean, that's a great thing that Baylor's able to do. But at first I was like, what are they talking about? But yes, I think that would be that. Man, we just had Scott Drew on with us, and he was talking about, because I was kind of like, hey, y'all have had, who knows what's going to happen, but you guys obviously had a really good relationship. What has he meant to you, I think, is what I asked. And he basically said that he was great to him and that they won a championship together, and had very kind things to say about him, as you would think. From my perspective, I could get him on. I mean, like, I should have known something even bigger was happening. Like, I don't think he did my show or Smokey's show all fall. So obviously stuff was going on behind the scenes. We just didn't know it. I did get tipped off by a scout at this sideline thing, but the way they explained it was kind of like he hollered at a guy and did blah, 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 and I didn't really think it was that big of a deal. Obviously, I probably should have dug in a little bit more considering what we know now. I just had a great, it's a rough deal. I mean, Kim left. She was lover or hate or whatever. She was a force of nature. Some people probably viewed that as a failing on his part. Some people viewed it as a good thing. There was a lot of people, especially Baylor administration, were very tired of Kim. She's gone on, won a national title at LSU. I can be, just in being totally candid with you, like, the level of dislike between those human beings is totally mutual. He cannot stand her. She cannot stand him. They needed to be away from each other, and now they are. And they were these last couple of years, since she's been to LSU. I'm just saying that's part of his legacy. Now, Nikki Collin is now their number 7 in the country. They play tonight. Like, she's doing a nice job. So that'll be part of his legacy too. The good and the bad. The Matt Rule thing was a good hire. The Aranda thing was just kind of I don't know. It's hard to beat him up too badly because it made total sense at the time. It turned out Aranda was very bad at portal, very bad at NIL, wasn't ready for it. And by the way, Mac is going to deserves criticism for that too. It wasn't just Dave. Dave took a lot of the heat, but it just was a perfect storm. They didn't do a great job. They tried to kind of do it. Hey, we're going to do it the Baylor way. They were slow at it, and then they had to play catch up. And they bounced back to a certain extent from it, but certainly not all the way. You need AD with a great NIL portal strategy. You need head coach, great in front of the media, great with the fan base, great NIL, great, Aranda, he's not that guy. Like, now the only way Aranda keeps his job, maybe if he wins these last 2 games and the new AD says, hey, let's give him 1 year, kind of like what Ren Baker did at West Virginia with Neil Brown. That could possibly happen. But here we are, and it happened on our watch, and we normally would never interrupt an interview with Scott Drew, but we had taped it earlier in the day. And what we will do, because all of that information will hold up. It's not like they play tonight or even tomorrow. They don't play till Monday in Las Vegas against Creighton, and then the next day they play against St. John's. We'll run the whole thing tomorrow. It'll be fine. That'll be fine. But this was important enough. We needed to break in, and we needed to sound off on this. Scotty, jump on here with me if you can. I would just say, and I don't know, you may jump on, do your own emergency podcast. Please bear with me. And I know you and Ganaway will have thoughts moving forward on this, but I just kind of think, man, it's a bummer. It's a sad day. But the way it was headed, it needed to happen. It did not need to linger. We all kind of knew it was going to happen, so it needed to happen in a hurry. This says to me, good, amicable type, hopefully parting of ways, max out, and you got to go run an AD search, and you got to have an AD in here by the time this football season ends. And when U of H shows up here in a couple of weeks, and you got that game, I'm not saying you have to have already told Dave Aranda something, but you better be able to act, and you better make a decision after that game, and you better have an AD in place ready to go. Linda Livingstone is running point. We got great people that are board of on the board of regents that will step in and assist her. Jovan will help. Chad will help. These are really. Chad is an old assistant AD. Cody Hall is who I mean. Cody Hall and Jovan will do they'll do a nice job of helping out. But make no mistake, it is Linda Livingstone with the help of probably some key figures that are the board of regents and maybe some of our huge donors will advise her, but she will be acting and she will be making these decisions. Scotty, my feelings, as I just shared, sadness, relief. Baylor can move forward in this messy, weird time that has cropped up since last week. Maybe we can start kind of thinking about a future, thinking about maybe a new football coach, and thinking about what the deal. But I today I do want to stress, Mac was great to me. We had a really good relationship. He got mad at me at times, and I'm not saying I didn't deserve it. He was very direct, but I enjoyed a very good relationship with him, and he basically came on with me anytime I needed him. And this year was an aberration, and now we kind of know why, because there was stuff going on behind the scenes. Scotty, I thought it was something I had done, which is a lot of times a pretty good guess, right? I thought it was my fault. And it turns out that there was a bunch of stuff we didn't know about going on behind the scenes. Scotty, where is your, as we get ready to kind of wrap our show up today, where's kind of your mind and thoughts on all of this with Mac? Scotty, I'm not hearing you. Hey, buddy. Scotty, I'm not hearing you. Okay, sorry. I was making sure you okay. We're going to try to get Scotty powered up here.
How's that?
Okay, now I got you.
Perfect. Hey, we need to update everybody. Scotty B's been providing a little play-by-play in the chat. Thank you, sir. Baylor soccer's up 1-0 at half over Wisconsin.
Yes.
I saw it happen. Stat tracker. Scotty B put it in the chat here. 4 saves for Baylor's keeper Alvarez. Outstanding game for her. 1-0 on a penalty kick. Baylor soccer is up. So we will be rooting for Michelle Leonard's squad in the second half. Matt, the timing of this separation, and I resonate with what you said about Mac's legacy. I don't know him personally, so I don't have the personal feelings on it like you do. I would say I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic because the speed at which this has happened tells me there is an urgency to move forward, particularly with the football program. I will not be reacting to this on Please Bear With Me until Sunday because I want to hear some more. But what I will tell you, Matt, and I shared it this morning, so I'm not doing anything wildly breaking here, but it's fun when you work in a fine dining restaurant. You never know who's going to walk in and tell you some things. I heard on Monday night that Baylor is very confident that this will go quickly, and they have a very good idea of who this next AD will be. I think we may find that out as quickly as early next week. I think this is going to be quick, mostly because we've both acknowledged, and you just said it, they need someone who can, as soon as 10 days from now, be ready to find a new football coach. And so I think, Smokey tweeted that the Board of Regents had already planned to meet today at 4. To move on this, I think there will be an offer in place this weekend. I think Baylor will have a new AD early next week. I'm sure you will get some texts and phone calls, and maybe we can come back to that tomorrow. I also know, and this is maybe a conversation to have 2 weeks from now. I have it. I got a text today from someone I trust, and I will be vague to protect the people. There are at least 2 high-profile former Baylor football players who are very interested in some kind of Andrew Luck type general manager role over personnel within the football program.
Okay.
I think one of those football players has said as much publicly.
Yeah.
And would not be hard to find. The other one has not said so publicly, but has said so privately. I do not know that that is the best direction for a program to go. I do not know that Baylor would go in that direction, but just know, as we're talking about a new AD, and as we're talking about potentially in 10 days, a new football coach, there are some high profile Baylor football people who want to be involved with this decision. It will be really interesting. This is going to be fun to track, Mosley, in the next 2 weeks, whose voices kind of get worked in here, what figures might want to step in and have a say in this. And with NIL and money considerations, their voices might carry some weight. So I'm kind of excited to follow the rumors and the leaks and whatever the next 2 weeks. And it's going to be fun. So I'll be the optimist. I'll be the optimist. I am excited to see the speed at which this is happening, and I hope that is good news for the football program.
Yeah, and you know, the thing you can't do though is muddy the waters. The one thing that will scare away AD candidates is if they get the feeling, first of all, you don't have that Baylor doesn't have NIL figured out, one. Or right. Two, that Baylor wants them to and I don't think Baylor's going to do this. But to your point of what you just said, if they said, "Hey, we'd kind of like you to think about, so and so to be your GM, and he's a big name, and we think people like that can scare candidates off quicker than anything." Sure. All right, because they've run their programs one way. And they know what they want to do, and they'll have a plan for NIL and all that they want to do. And they, I promise you, don't want to be told. Now, the great thing about people like Jeremiah Dickey, if he ends up on the short list, is that he knows not only does he have a plan because he's been doing it at Boise State. Let's not act like Boise State just had this incredible NIL situation from day one. He had to build it. He had to get people going. But I'll say this, he has an attitude of like, Baylor has plenty of graduates and successful people. If you know where to look for it and you know how to ask for it, it's out there. So any thought, well, these people are tapped out, or our people, I've been reading some of that, okay, at different places, our people are tapped out. There may be some that are. I get that. Okay, guess who else is tapped out? Cody Campbell's sick of it. Now, does he ever stop spending at Texas Tech? No. Is he tapped out? He feel like that's part of the reason he's doing all this stuff with like Congress, and he's sick of having to bankroll this whole thing on his own. But now that doesn't mean he won't stop, that he's going to stop doing it, but he doesn't want to keep doing this year after year after year. So it'll be, but all those things are interesting, and there'll be plenty of things to kind of work through and walk through. The thing I can promise you is I know how to protect certain candidates. So, I'll give you as much information as I can, but I think we'll kind of know where things are going, how things are moving, is anything happening, and it'll be fine. But make no mistake, Baylor, this is kind of how this thing will work today. And I keep looking to make sure they haven't come out with an official statement, but somebody from Baylor, in the past, Thamel, I think would hear from, I won't get into it, but yes, not shocking that something that has to do with Mac Rhodes, that Pete Thamel would be on it, is all I'll say on that front. I think that, let me look at my email real quick because something would pop in if Baylor sent something out. All right, just wanted to make sure there wasn't a document or a press release from Baylor. It may be being crafted as we speak, and it may be if the the executive. I'm trying to think if the executive committee, when they're supposed to be meeting, Okay, so he reported that maybe there was already a previously scheduled thing at 4. Well, that's convenient. You can give them an update, let them know what's happening. I will say, let me give you one kind of reminder, I don't know if I've said this on here before, about Baylor's Board of Regents. Unlike LSU and some other places, not that they don't sort of act alone like some of these. Now, there are too many of them. There's whereas the Texas A&M system or the UT system, let's say they have maybe 15 or something, or most places have somewhere in that range, 10 to 15. Baylor has 34 or 35. Okay, that's too many. I even think probably some people on the board would admit that. It's too kind of unwieldy but President Livingstone is doing a good job of keeping everybody together, and there will be some key people on that. And you go, remind me who's the chairman or the chairperson of the Board of Regents? Well, his name is Bill Mears, like Mearse, I believe. The reason you never hear about him is because he's probably never been in front of a camera representing Baylor. Baylor wants its AD and president and those folks out representing. They rarely send the board members out. So anything you hear from the Board of Regents will come through a carefully crafted message, which is really kind of coming more out of the president's office. Bill Mears, I'd be really shocked if we heard from him through this. Who knows? Maybe, but he is, for the most part, kind of, he's not a guy I think would want to be out front on this. All right. And so we'll see who all's involved, how quickly this search goes. That sounds a little quick to me, Scotty. I would say, and I'm not saying you're not hearing that, and maybe it will. I could be totally wrong and they'll have somebody by Monday or Tuesday. I would say they'll take a full week to really vet some people. I don't think there'll be a whole big, let's hire a firm. There are people on the inside at the athletics department, by the way, one in particular, who worked for one of those firms for 20 years, who could help them in that regard. All right. So they have people that know how that whole world works. I would think from an optics standpoint, you would at least take a week and then you just be ready to go with someone, right? I mean, you kind of need to have somebody though in place before that Houston game ends. You don't really want to be out there with your whole recruiting class what's going on? What do we got? I mean, Scotty, when's that early recruiting period, the big day? Is that December 3rd or 6th? What is that big day? Anyway, that's a very important time. I mean, you're trying to, most of these recruits. Now, again, some of them can wait until the February signing period that we got so used to over the years. But that December signing period is when 90% of high school athletes are making their decisions and signing.
December 17th.
17th. Thank you, sir.
So ideally, you well before then would need to have a football coach and a plan in place to try to keep as much as this 26 class together as you can.
Correct. And there might even be, to your point there might even be, you think about who they kept when Matt Rule left. Joey was an important keep. There were a couple of others they were trying to hold on to. This probably would be a very smart time to, if you think Dallas and Keenan, that new coach he's not only has to hit the ground running, but he has to talk to this staff in a hurry. And there are some members of that staff, including Keenan in Dallas, maybe even Jared Anderson, but there are some people that you might want to hold on to that could help you hold on to that class. And for starters, whoever your person is that seems to have the closest relationship with all these Waco area kids, That was an important thing that Aranda's staff had done. Now, I say all this knowing something crazy could happen and Baylor could win its last 2 games. And then you have a very awkward and odd situation because you're going to have your new AD, and then he's got to decide, do I want to hire a person or do I want to give this guy one more crack at it, support him at least for a year and see where it goes? Wow. Lots happening, and we're glad. We love having Scott on, and we'll have Scott Drew on again tomorrow, but love that we were able to break in and get that breaking news to you live. And again, I'm looking to see about, oh my gosh, Scotty, you can imagine how many calls and texts I'm getting and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I mean, some of the questions I'm getting, oh my, and a lot of it's from like old, longtime sports writing buddies. I think the most popular question right now is like, what did Mac do? And I've tried to just address it without addressing it, and maybe more will come out on it. But I just think right now we got to think about Mac and his family and how they've been impacted. And obviously it was enough that this needed to happen and they needed to part ways. And it's extremely unfortunate because he built up a great reputation. And it's a reminder that, man, for our kids and all of us, we can spend all this time doing all this great stuff and developing this great reputation. And then, one mistake can bring it all crumbling down. Now, that said, the next part of that story is, let's hope he's got another chapter left in him. I mean, I know if I'm sitting out there and I'm in another place, yeah, you probably wouldn't want to hire him immediately, right? But, at some point he'll be able to tell his story and he'll be able to, he is extremely respected in the community. So if the question you're asking me is, should Mac Rhodes get to come back from this? Absolutely. But I think sometimes we look through things through the prism of like, well, the guy from 10 years ago, the coach who got fired, did not get to continue his career as we knew it. He got to go coach at a high school or something, but his career was basically over. I don't think Max is, but Max 60 years old, and Max probably with this settlement Max made great money, and I bet he's put a lot of it away. He doesn't have to work anymore, I would think. So he can do what he wants to do. I think he would be a wealth of information for whatever school or whoever wanted to tap into Max, mind. But again, sad day. It's sad. And yet I understand why a lot of Baylor people are like, okay, we've got closure there. I get all that. Because I know him, I just can't quite get to like, okay, great, here's our cert, let's do it. I mean, like today to me has to be a little bit about, this is a really sad thing. And then we'll be dealing with that. Listen, tomorrow's show, there'll be a lot of this, may bring in some guests to kind of talk about how all this will go. Should I bring in one of the AD candidates? I don't know if I should or not. But it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds. But appreciate you. And we went a little bit longer today because we felt like this deserved some special coverage. And we broke into the great Scott Drew's interview. Again, we'll play the interview in its entirety. We had to break in 2 minutes after this report, and Scotty and I are like, we gotta jump in here and talk about this. But all of Scott Drew's interview will play tomorrow, heading into Monday's action as the Baylor plays at 1:00. And as Scotty said, Baylor up over Wisconsin. The last update we got at halftime in the NCAA soccer tournament. I think they call this like the College Cup or something. That might be when it gets to the Final Four. But the NCAA soccer tournament is women's tournament is underway. We always just say soccer because Baylor doesn't have a men's program. But it is Baylor's up 1-0, penalty kick. Bears goal, their keeper, as Scotty said, Azul is her name. She's a good one. And she already has 4 saves. She's great line of defense back there. So anyway, there you go. Follow us on Twitter. I'll have more updates throughout the afternoon. I'll react to things. I'll be sharing all kinds of things, but we wanted to jump back on the show and do some extra time for you as we react to Mack Rhoades' tenure at Baylor looking reportedly coming to an end. And I do think we'll have a statement from Baylor before the end of the day. And, still waiting on all of that. So anyway, Scotty, appreciate you going the distance today and a little bit of OT. Appreciate everybody who's been a part of this. The Mosley Show, and even on Twitter, all of that. Sign up for our YouTube page. Just find Matt Mosley on a YouTube channel. And thank you, Brazos Landing, for this bonus coverage. We're not even going to send you the bill for it. But boy, Brazos Landing, unbelievable. They're supportive of us. In fact, our Matthew and Corey and some of our big time executives were right over there trying out that Bang Bang Shrimp today over at the Brazos Landing. Thank you, Claude and Becky Lindsay. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your incredible support of the Mosley Show. And then thank you, Central National Bank, our presenting sponsor. We love you. We love you. You guys are there. They're a huge part of Baylor and what Baylor does. And in fact, they are the key presenting sponsor for Baylor women's basketball, which Scotty plays tonight, 8:00. ESPN2, the Bears and the Hawkeyes. Let me just say one thing, Scotty. Caitlin Clark, she's not walking through that door tonight. Bears, give me the Bears. I don't know what the line on is, but give me the Bears to win, Bears to cover as the Bears get it on in State Farm. Where is this, Scotty? Oh, yeah, Florida. Wide World of Sports Complex in Orlando, Florida. Baylor versus the Iowa Hawkeyes. All right, everybody. I appreciate it. Great stuff, Scotty. Great stuff to everybody. We will react. We'll have much more reaction tomorrow beginning at 1:00 live on the Matt Mosley Show.